What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so Lonzo Ball, right? Lonzo Ball and his brother LaMelo recently appeared on Angel Reese's podcast, unapologetically Angel. And during this podcast, on one segment, Lonzo Ball caused shockwaves around the league by claiming that Kobe Bryant is not a top 5 player in his eyes. And he gave ultimately an incorrect reason as for why LeBron James is higher than Kobe Bryant on his all-time list. At least I assume that his fellow Klutch client is higher on his all-time list than Kobe Bryant. So this is what he said. He said, quote, "I love Kobe, but he was never the best player to me when I was watching him, just because he's got the most misses ever." You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But back to Curry, his resume, the way he changed the game, he's the best shooter ever, carried USA. There ain't nothing that he has done that he hasn't done, and he's got the rings to back it up too. So I don't know. So look, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. But, the fact that he said Kobe was never the best player. Okay, well, this is the thing I have to say for that. If he was never the best player, let's say after 2004, 2005, then who was the best player? Are you insinuating it was Curry at one point? Because we can make that argument, but you can't definitively say he was ever the best player, but you can make a case for it, especially after 2015. But that's after the Kobe era, right? When was LeBron ever definitively the best player? Because he wasn't winning championship before 2010, 2011. And then maybe you could argue 2011 to 2015. You could argue that. But you had Dirk Nowitzki have his run in 2011 where he was the best player in those playoffs. LeBron was anything but the best player in those finals. He was the worst starter. Matter of fact, he was the worst superstar. He had the worst superstar performance ever in the NBA Finals. You could argue maybe for a couple of years in the 2010s, but nah. Kobe Bryant was considered the best player in the NBA by the media before they turned into the dastardly media. I distinctly remember people like Skip Bayless before he went full hate mode with Kobe, Stephen A. Smith, Colin Cowherd. I remember the general consensus was Kobe Bryant was the best player in the NBA in the late 2000s. As a matter of fact, one of the main reasons why he won the MVP in 2008, I believe it was because the media felt like that they had made a mistake not giving Kobe Bryant the MVP award back in 2006 when they really was playing strategy and politics, trying to clean up the league's image by giving it to a white guy after the Malice at the Palace. Real talk. Okay, that's what that was. We can act like we don't like it or we don't want to acknowledge it and don't like it, but that's what it was. Now, you said Curry carried the Olympic team, right? I agree with those last 2 games, right? But at the end of the day, why does the media act like that's a ridiculous point to make? Because we were all saying that we thought Curry should have at least won co-MVP, but apparently to the media, that was ridiculous with LeBron James in a discussion. But I digress. Okay. Then he goes on to say this, all right? I just had to get that out. Then he goes on to say that he had the most misses ever, Kobe Bryant. So that's the reason why you don't have him in your top 5 all time. Okay. Like I said, you can, it's perfectly fine if you don't think Kobe's a top 5 player, but don't give false fraudulent reasons. I think someone needs to tell Lonzo Ball to do his research because LeBron Ramon James is the all-time leader in missed shots, not Kobe Bryant. As a matter of fact, LeBron Ramon James has 14,628 missed shots and counting. Okay. He's now about 147 missed shots ahead of Kobe Bryant. And that total is going to keep on increasing. Matter of fact, I'm wondering if he stays healthy, if he's going to push past 15,000. Okay? So at the end of the day, we got to know he's not the all-time leader in missed shots. It's your boy. Okay? Now, people like to say, well, the only reason why he got that is because he's played a long time. Well, don't forget, Kobe played 20 years too. But you never wanted to hear that when we made the argument about Kobe. Also, you got to look at eras. Kobe played in an era where it was just far more difficult to score. Kobe's not as big as LeBron. Kobe, you know what I'm saying, is a guard, primarily playing on the perimeter. Okay? Of course, he's going to shoot a worse percentage than LeBron Ramon James. That just makes sense. The rules had something to do with that. Look, the average center today shoots close to 60% from the floor. 25 years ago, the average center shot 47% from the floor. The average, I think, guard shoots something around 47% from the floor, 46%. I think it's no, I don't think it's that. I think it's around 45%, the average guard. I think it shoots around 45%. The average guard 25 years ago shot 41% from the floor. Okay. So Kobe shooting 45% for his career actually was very damn good. Allen Iverson shooting 42.5% for his career was actually pretty goddamn good, considered their value. You can't take what these guys were doing back then when there wasn't a freedom of movement rule, when there wasn't the elimination of the traditional center of the basket, the rim protector, and shot blocker. There wasn't, you know what I'm saying, all these guys that shoot threes with spaces to throw out, when you couple that with the fact that you eliminated the big man, traditional big man, making them stretch, you got all of these unencumbered drives to the basket where these guys are getting all these layups, massaging their field goal percentage. We didn't have these things back then, right? We didn't have these things back then. So that had to be factored in. Another thing you got to factor in, Lonzo Ball, is the way these guys are getting their points. Okay? Your boy, your fellow Klutch client, LeBron Ramon James, he shoots 50.6% from the floor, right? But you got to dig a little deeper than that. You got to dig a little deeper. And when you dig deeper, you see that 48% of his shot attempts for his career, I'm not talking about the last couple years because even more so now, but for his career, 48% of his shot attempts have come from 10 feet and in. So nearly half of his shot attempts come from 10 feet from the cup and closer. 10 feet from the cup and closer. So to be honest with you, I don't know why he's not even shooting. He should really be shooting Kareem percentage, not 50%. He really should be shooting Kareem's percentage. Whereas Kobe Bryant, 48% of his shot attempts in his career came from 16 feet out. 16 feet out. And he didn't have the luxury of playing with Anthony Davis during the second half of his career. Now, the first half of his career, yeah, he did play with Shaq. But his shot attempts were mostly from the mid-range out. Also, when you look at everything outside of around the cup and three-point range, and even with three-point range, LeBron just has his spots where he has, he's played forever. He's been able to, work on his 3-point shot to the point where, and it's so emphasized in today's game that he does shoot a good percentage from three. I gotta give him that. Although, technically speaking, when you're 6'9", and when you're often matched up with guys who are 4 or 5 inches shorter than you, it's kind of easier to get your shot off. And oftentimes when you see LeBron shooting, he's not even being guarded. But anyway, from 3 to 10 feet from the rim, LeBron James for his career 42.9%, Kobe 43.7%. From 10 to 16 feet, LeBron James 36.6%, Kobe Bryant 43%. This is a staggering difference in percentage for his career. 36.6%, Kobe 43%. From 16 feet into the 3-point range or 3-point line, LeBron 38.6%, Kobe 40.2%. So from 3 feet from the rim to the 3-point line, Kobe absolutely destroys LeBron James. The difference is mostly at the rim. It's so much easier to make shots now. Kobe wasn't as big and as strong as LeBron. Wasn't able to maintain his athleticism as long. Kobe shot around 64% from 3 feet and to the rim, from the rim at 3 feet out, 64%. LeBron, 74%. One other stat I want to put out there, LeBron outside of 3 feet from the rim for his career, 37% from the floor. Kobe, the same measure, 41%. So who's really the better shooter? And by the way, Lonzo Ball, should you even be talking about field goal percentage? Don't you shoot 41% from the floor this year? Don't you shoot 40% from the floor for your career? Should you even really be having this conversation? And why is your brother, LaMelo, shooting 43% from the floor in an era where it's so much easier to score? Shouldn't he be shooting 50% from the floor? Your boy, your brother, great player, but he's more of a chucker than Kobe ever was. Oh my goodness. If he's shooting 43% in this era, what would he be shooting back in 2005? Would he even be in the league? And he can't play defense. He's always in foul trouble. But anyway, that's another thing I want to make a point. Part of why Kobe Bryant's field goal percentage went down a little bit as he got older, part of it, aside from the decreased athleticism, was he was playing defense. Defense takes away your energy. It saps your energy, especially as you get over the age of 30. There were many games when Kobe was hitting his shots. He was on fire. But what happened? Going to the fourth quarter, his field goal percentage would go down. Why? Well, because he was getting tired. But, he wasn't taking magic elixirs, which we will not name, which is known to give aging athletes a boost of energy and endurance so they can keep up with 20-year-olds. But, the media, real quiet on that one. But anyway, that's all I got to say about it.